Hi, my name is Catelyn Turner. I am the OSU Extension Educator for Agricultural and Natural Resources here in Monroe County. And to continue our Getting Started Grazing presentation, I have a few more things for us to keep in mind. It never hurts to have a professional come out and look at your operation, because it never hurts to have a second set of eyes to look and recommend anything that they might have knowledge on, which can be individuals like Michelle listed or mentioned earlier, from many of the organizations like your local NRCS, Soil and Water, us at OSU Extension. It's just a really good way for you to get what you want by hearing what other people's have to say with the unbiased opinion of your property. So we also will have resources when we come out and visit. We can see what you have going on firsthand, and then we have the resources that we can share with you. Kind of give you a little bit of direction as to where you would like to head, what your goals are, and things like that. So one of the first things to talk about is facilities planning. So there are three aspects that affect our day-to-day operations for you, and to make them make sense, it's nice to have a plan as to our layout and to make them functional. So we need to evaluate our farm fencing needs, the livestock building needs, and feed storage needs, because these are the three things that are going to affect your operation on a day-to-day basis. And if they don't work for you, it's just going to make your job harder. So we want to alleviate that stress caused by that and just start out on the right foot. So probably one of the most overlooked and possibly the most important things is our livestock handling facilities. So handling facilities, they may or may not be something that you use every day, but when we do use them, if they are not built for what we have in mind, it just makes your job harder. So we don't want to forget about those or overlook that aspect of the operation in our planning phases. And then establishing our critical facilities and locations of these things that I have mentioned is important, so that we can properly utilize the grazing system that you want to put in place. So the next big one, money, planning financially. We want to evaluate the expected cost of your production. The university enterprise has some production budgets that you can use as tools for establishing your own budgets. These budgets can be found at the AEDE website, which I'm going to pull up here. Let's see if I can get it to. So if you type in this website, we will find this is what'll show up. So not only are you able to look at these budgets from previous years, depending on what you are growing, but there are also farm management decision tools, some really neat fact sheets that you can look at, and a lot of just financing information. So let's say we click on the grass hay production budget of 2016. If we do that, what'll pop up is this Excel sheet, which is a really in-depth budget. It lays out your receipts, your costs, total variable costs, fixed costs. So you want to make sure you include everything that would fall under those categories if you choose to do this in this format. Record keeping is a really important tool for you as a producer. It'll help you in the long run. So do whatever makes sense for you. If it's easy for you to type up an Excel sheet, use this template, go for it. If it's easier for you to write it out in a planner, that works too. Writing things on a calendar, as long as you have good records, of your money spent, what you do, labor and management, all these kind of things, they're only going to help you in the long run. So good record keeping skills is always a good thing to keep in mind. And we'll go back to our PowerPoint, but those budgets, and there were other budgets on that website, feel free to go click on them, look through them, download them. You can use them as a template for yourself. So the next thing we want to do is prioritize our work. So after we have thoroughly evaluated all of the resources that you have, we have a rough grazing plan. We've had farm visits and meetings with the professionals that we have listed. You can now begin to prioritize what you need to work on. What are the weaknesses of your operation? What are your strengths? If we are aware of both of those, we know what we need to work on and what we have been successful with. So in terms of economic environmental impact to winter grazing and feeding area, so if you're going to do winter grazing is what this is saying, your feeding area is the highest priority in this situation. So it kind of can sometimes change from year to year too. So just keep in mind that your goals that you have for yourself, they don't all have to be completed in 1 year. So our summary is we want to create a mission and vision of those goals that I've mentioned. We want to communicate these and evaluate our progress. And by keeping good records, we're able to evaluate our progress and see where our weaknesses are and work on them over time. So to do that, we got to be flexible. We got to be open to ideas and change. The individuals that would be coming out to look at your property, they're going to have ideas. So you can be open to those. You can go to multiple other people's properties, go to, once we start getting to have field days and farm visits again and programs outside, go to them. Get more information from the people in your community, the other people around you. What are they doing? What have they been successful with? And what are their struggles? It kind of gives you an insight to what do you want to do and how best do you think you can do that for your own operation. Knowing the cost. Cost is always a scary thing to think about, but if you don't know what you're getting into, sometimes that can lead to a little bit of stress, which, you know, try to avoid that. So make sure you use the tools that are around you, use professionals and the resources that they can give you as well. So that'll all address fencing, layout, water distribution, working facilities, winter feed area, you know, like Michelle mentioned, your soil testing, your forage testing, because we want to create an environment for forage growth. I think one of the things that gets overlooked a lot is fencing, which I just mentioned here, but I have chased multiple goats down State Route 800 here because one of my weaknesses was I overlooked our fencing situation prior to getting my goats. So never again, never again. That is my weakness. We know it now. And my husband and I, we fixed that. So you just want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row according to those things. So, and other things to keep in mind, like I said, once we can start having programs at people's farms and operations in the future, visit as many as you can prior to starting anything. Get all the information and resources that are available to you, and then you can kind of pick a plan as to what best fits your needs. Have a relationship with your veterinarian. If you're going to have animals, you're going to deal with a veterinarian. So it's always good to be on good terms, first name basis. They know where you live and what animals you have. You can plan your system, have a USDA plan written, and just have a contingency plan in place. So because we're going to want to plan on working with animals, loading, unloading, treating them when they're sick. That's where the facilities come in handy. And the one thing to remember is to be a lifelong student. We learn something new every single day. Everybody's an expert in different things. Nobody's an expert in every single thing. So don't ever feel like you can never learn something else, because you can. And that is all I have for you guys this evening. Thank you for listening in on our Getting Started with Grazing presentation, and I hope you all have a good night. Thanks.